I hope you all enjoyed our rather rousing Valentine's Day show, but today we're going to take a rather esoteric and perhaps philosophical swing through some very heavy stuff. So strap in and get ready. Now, Mia, I want to talk about today a recent interview in the Wall Street Journal with a favorite author of mine. Her name is Camille Paglia. She is a self-styled dissident feminist and an outspoken critic of pop culture. Now, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are familiar with her work, but for those who are not, she was a professor who hit it big with her first book, Sexual Personae, which I have read, and I think it's fantastic. And as far as I'm concerned, she really nails it. Now, in this recent interview, she said some very provocative things, and I'd like to get your thoughts on them. For instance, she has a lot to say about how men have been essentially deballed by feminism. Quote, "Our society is neutering boys of their maleness at a very young age, while the lack of people with military experience in important positions is a recipe for disaster. What we're seeing is how a civilization commits suicide. There are no models of masculinity anymore. Primary education does everything in its power to turn boys into neuters. Masculinity is just becoming something that is imitated from the movies. There's nothing left. There's no room for anything manly right now." What do you think of that, Mary?
Well, I agree a lot with what she's saying. Just think about the school system nowadays. You know, kids cannot fight anymore. There is always a guard watching in the playground. Boys used to wrestle each other, you know, fight, kick. Even girls, as little kids, oh my God, me and the sisters, we used to kick each other, punch in the face, you know, almost kill each other, pulling the hair. And it was important at that time. When you are a kid filled with hormones and energy, it's important to have the physical contact. But nowadays, especially in America, well, you cannot hug your teacher or you cannot hug anybody in the classroom because that's a sexual content, you know. Right. Or you cannot fight and that's too much aggression. You're bullying someone. That's life. You look at the animals. There's always a stronger and a weaker, you know. That's what we are all about. Yeah, we need to play about a little bit. I think she makes a good point here. Right. Neutering everybody, but not allowing boys to fight anymore. Well, you know, not to be masculine because they'll be accused of being bullied. Yeah, there is a certain point that it is bully, but on the other hand, let boys be boys and girls be girls if they have to, you know? Yeah, well, you know, as you know, and my audience, some of our audience knows that I'm a high school teacher and coach, and I deal with this problem on a daily basis, and I'm very concerned personally with where our men are going because, you know, it's my personal experience. I like to hug my kids. I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy, and like you say, we can't touch our students anymore, and this is a real problem. It's absurd, you know. I mean, at home they probably don't have the physical attention from the mother. Number one, well, there may not be a father even around. Well, right? Women nowadays they are working, so the kids are raised by strangers. Daycare. Nobody has the physical. Nobody's gonna love you like the parents will. You tell me that a daycare person, a stranger, is gonna love a child and value as much as you do. No, how can that be possible? And, you know, the ambitions of women being out there working, they are abandon their kids, and it goes to the system. So the system's educating the children, not the parents anymore. Right. I think the parents need to have a little bit more participation, allow kids to be kids. And a lot of times people don't want the kids to play with each other. You know, the neighbors close the door on you. Oh, it's not time. Oh, terrible. You know, so they allow the kids to be in front of the TV playing video games, and they are being brutal with their fingers and the image they see in front of them. Yes. That's killing everyone. It's a horrible way, you know.
As opposed to letting the kids do their natural,
go out on the street,
like
you know,
say, fighting.
Go kick a ball, go play in the sand castle, you know, go climb a tree and fall and break an arm. Well, we all need those experiences.
As you know, last year we dealt with a situation in my school where a kid brought a plastic gun to school. Plastic gun. It was a squirt gun. But because of our, call it the feminization of our society, this kid was arrested. The parents, you remember the story, Mia. It was over a yellow plastic squirt gun, but it resembled a gun. And the female teacher who found the gun lost her cookies. Yeah. And but let's go back to the point. Are we...
Yes, we are. We are losing, you know. Man is losing because how does a man become a man? Let's look through history a little bit. You are a good historian here.
Thank you.
What man has done through history?